I'll share the agenda on the screen, sir. Okay. Yeah. So these are basically all the broad outline items. The first one is I already spoke to you. The ward engineer, too many transfers. If if we can get a fix on this, we'll have some sort of continuity. Especially in our ward committee meetings, get stalled because we don't get any updates on the ongoing projects because of the frequent transfers. So this can this be fixed? I mean, I don't know why there are so many transfers.
Yeah, so I'll finish up quickly as in when the point comes up.
Yeah.
So one is of course the ward engineers. We had a lot of outsourced ward engineers, and that was a decision taken earlier.
Yes, sir.
But right now, because of I think there was a decision taken to send back all the outsourced ward engineers,
Oh, I
which
see.
means it came back to the regular BBMP ward engineers, who are, as you rightly said, if there are 198 wards, there may be about 100 ward engineers.
Oh, I see.
And they have been given some of them double charges and all that, and that leads again to non-regular ward meetings, follow-ups, and all of that. So
Okay.
let me take an overall stock of probably what you can do is take an overall stock, speak to your mates in the other wards of Madhepura,
Yes.
and let's do a comparative to see how your ward is placed vis-a-vis the others. And we'll try and ensure that at least within Mahadevpura, there's equitable distribution of the ward engineers. It should not happen that some 3 wards alone have shared engineers and the others are all enjoying one full ward engineer. And we'll also have to look at a rationalization in terms of the ward size. I don't know how big your ward Kadugodi is vis-a-vis a Belandur or a Vartur, but
Yes.
still we need to take a rational choice.
Sure, sir. The second item is ward committee meetings, of course. After the COVID lockdown has been suspended, we've not had a meeting yet. We've requested, but I think it's because of the ward engineer non-availability that is getting held up.
So what can be done is, see, I also during the peak of COVID, we could do about 2 online meetings, but nothing beyond that. And ward members also kind of understood.
Yes, sir.
But when I restarted the physical ward meetings last Saturday.
Okay.
So there's good response. People start coming in, and I had also posted a message in all our groups that ward committee meetings have to commence.
Okay.
So if you have not had a ward committee meeting last week, then that's a serious thing.
Yeah, we did not have one. Yeah.
Let's wait till Monday. If Monday also it's not done, please give me the name of your ward engineer and all that, and I'll be taking a report.
Okay,
And
sir.
then we'll just file that with the chief commissioner, saying that either this chap has to be changed as the nodal officer for the ward, or he needs to be forced to conduct these meetings
I see.
regularly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this you can separately write them.
Sure, sir. Actually, we raised the issue 2 weeks ago, and the nodal officer said, yes, we'll schedule one next week. But after that, I think there was the issue of ward.
What's his name?
The chief, it's Mr. Munireddy, I think.
Mr. Munireddy.
Munireddy. Munireddy must be your executive engineer himself.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
He's the nodal officer for our ward.
Yeah, so I'll check with him. You can just mention his name also in this note.
Yes.
And the name of the ward engineer also can be mentioned above, so that it's easy for me to follow up.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And this note can contain the ward name and the ward number right at the top.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Now, coming to other long-standing and general issues, building bylaw violations are like a big issue here. Like the FIR provided to either, I don't know if they're provided or whether people are constructing illegally. Like we have very narrow roads with very huge FIRs given. See our layouts, especially Prashant layout extension, and there's a White Rose layout. The streets are like about 20 feet to 30 feet max, but there are 6-floor buildings going up there. People build edge to edge, and it's very unhealthy. I don't know how people in those buildings have light or air. These are very common violations. There are no offset setbacks, excessive construction, and borewell, of course, every site drills like 2 or 3 borewells. This is the layout situation. But on ECC main road, there is the other issue. This is big properties, large developers like Prestige are putting up 22 towers, but the street is just 30 feet or 40 feet. And maybe in the RMP 2016, there is an allocation for widening to maybe 50 feet or 60 feet. But on ground situation is that the street is only 30 or 40 feet. It's like only one or two builders have, let out some space, but the street is still very narrow. So how do we deal with these overall issues, sir?
No, I admit that this is probably more prominent in Mahadevpura, but it is an all Bangalore kind of a phenomenon.
Yes.
There are two types. One is buildings being built without any kind of sanction on paper.
I see, sir.
The other category is buildings being built where they will show something on paper, but actually what is built is much beyond that.
Yes, sir.
So if you need me to kind of follow up on 2-3 test cases, obviously I cannot do everything in the ward or the zone.
Yes.
But if you feel that there is, as you mentioned, these two layouts, which is a clear cut violation cases,
Yes, sir.
we could kind of do a paper trail back in terms of seeing who gave the approvals and who was responsible for the monitoring.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start off in that way, because this is too broad an issue for us to put our hands in now and try to set everything right.
Yes.
Also, I would admit at the outset that while it is a violation and we are concerned, probably in the overall priority list of the other issues that VBMP deals with, this may be something of a medium priority for us.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis garbage management,
Mhm.
issues of ensuring that roads are built, infrastructure is put in place, uh, things like that. I hope you get the point broadly. So
Yeah.
this is more put on a medium priority for whatever reasons. But all said and done, it is something which needs to be tackled at all levels, and probably can start off with you highlighting the major violation kind of areas and what's to us first in
Sure.
writing, and that has to come probably in writing through proper channel, through the JC and all of that.
Okay.
Mark the copy to me, and we'll take that up separately rather than discussing it here.
Sure, sir. But in terms of overall regulation, because see, what happens is among people, when you have so many violations going on and there is no oversight or regulation,
Correct.
people get a sense of misgovernance, and that is seeping into every level.
See, probably this is where a little more role to the joint commissioner and the zonal commissioner would have to be given. See, the town planning department is something which plans something and allocates something, and thereafter, are we saying that there is this one engineer AE who goes around monitoring everywhere? Which is practically not possible. So we would probably need some different kind of a monitoring structure to ensure these violations are reported in time. See, many of time the violations come to our notice when 80% building is built, 90% done, and really invariably the number of demolitions that happen are minimal, even if they do. Again, demolitions require a budget allocation. So I've seen many files which are landed up my table saying allocate 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs because we want to demolish this building. And then it gets into a budget cycle where money is not available. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle. So lack of funds for even demolishing is also becoming an issue. So finance has also suggested that town planning or the engineers, while giving the sanction, keep about 10% of the amount, or we need to levy something from a builder that in case he violates, that money will be used to demolish the building. So this was one of the proposals given. Of course, that will be refundable once he proves that his building is built according to the norms. So there's multiple issues. Probably we as zonal commissioners have also not gotten too involved in this because this is something which is directly seen at the local level between the town planning and the engineers. But you're right, it needs to be prioritized.
No, but our humble feedback on this is I think this needs to be prioritized higher only for one reason. See, the faith in an institution depends on what is seen. It's like, the old saying, justice should not only be done, it should be seen as done, right? So,
agreed, Sandeep. I'm not saying anything that is in violation of what you're saying. I'm only saying that I'm only committing ahead that we have not prioritized this. So I'm not saying we should not, but I'm admitting to the fact that we have not.
Okay, sir. We'll submit a letter, sir, and we'll
yeah, let that be a separate thing. Let it not be mixed with the other issues, because other issues are routine issues which can be handled, like your commercial activities, PGs, whatever I'm seeing the next few lists.
Yes, sir. So on commercial activities, what does it take? So like we see two kinds of violations. One is blatant, like there are shops in a street with boards and all that. What we are given to understand is, as per the last High Court directive, a street should have more than 40 feet within a residential layout to actually be given a license. But a lot of streets with 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet are getting licenses. I don't know how. Or maybe they don't have, but they have boards and stuff like that. Yes.
Both are right. If you can get hold of, again, I'm saying a few test cases. If
Yeah.
you have to handle it, if you can get hold of any document where you know for a fact that the road is not 40 feet
Yes, sir.
and they've given it in a residential area, that is a blatant violation.
Yes, sir.
Invariably, what would happen is that it would kind of be built without, started without permission,
Okay.
citing some old permission at a different location or something. So that needs to be checked.
Mm-hmm.
The third possibility could be that yes, it is a above 40 feet road, but then again there is a catch. If it is above 40 feet also in a residential area, I think 20% of the area can only be used for commercial purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is also violated in large scale. So the 20%, there's nobody to go and measure that. 20% would probably mean if you have 3 floors, then you can use only 1 floor, something like that. So there are variants here, and this is something which we can immediately act on if you give us some locations, because there is at least a team to work on this. There's the senior health inspector, there is the MOH above that, and then there's a CHO in my office whom I can directly ask why trade license have been. We can immediately give you an info. And with the trade license system being made online, we will also have a public portal where people can go and check whether authorized trade licenses are there or not.
Okay, sir. Just going back shortly to the previous section, this building construction licenses which are given, are they online? Approvals?
Town planning department handles this. But let me revert to you on this. Probably on, I know for a fact that no, I'll come back to you. Probably just after this call, I will just message you.
Sure, sir. No problem.
Keep that as an open issue.
Okay. Then in commercial activities also, there is a second kind of activity which is happening nowadays in our layouts. People rent out their buildings for parties and stuff. These are not like, they don't have a board, and it's not like a commercial license. But then the entire neighborhood is disturbed because, people start partying in the nights and goes on till morning. You have to keep calling the cops, and it's like a huge issue.
So paying guest is still not classified specifically.
No, I'm talking commercial activity, not paying guest.
What kind of commercial activity?
No, they rent out villas, parties and gatherings.
Oh, okay.
And that becomes a huge issue. The entire layout is filled with vehicles, noise.
So what they would obviously say is, this is my villa and I've let out for my friends to come and spend the evening. Or
what they do is they put advertisements on all these online mediums, Google Ads, Facebook, and some Airbnb and stuff like that.
Okay. So that is a renting out of space. That's a commercial activity.
Yeah, but they won't have a board. They don't take a license, so it's under the radar.
How many such spaces are there?
I mean, in our area, there are about 2 or 3 villas doing that.
No, I've not heard of this. I mean, first time probably it's coming to my notice that something like this is happening.
Because in these cases, what happens, we call up the cops at night because our sleep is disturbed.
No, that's true. I mean, nobody has a right to disturb others. Though this is not truly a trade license kind of an issue. But obviously, they'll not have a trade license. That's 100% sure, and we can't give it also.
Yeah.
So let me get back to you on this. Probably this also you can flag along with your whole commercial activities as a third point.
Yes, sir.
Villas.
Activities. Okay. Sir, on PGs, is there any?
So PGs has gone to government. Presently, PGs is not regulated under the Trade License Act.
Yes, sir.
So PGs, we have recommended to the government to include also this under the trade license. So we're just waiting for that approval. You're very right, that needs to be regulated because this is the largest unregulated sector now.
Yes,
and a lot of students, not only in Mahadevpura, but even if you see other inner zones, any places close to colleges are always given to the PGs. Now, you're right, the traffic and all those other associated issues of them keeping up late in the night, that is a huge kind of an issue. So we need to regulate it and see where PG permission can be given and not. We
Yes.
are unable to act right now because it is not coming under the trade license ambit.
Correct.
And so a proposal has gone. I'll keep you posted on the status of that.
Sure. Thank you. Then, of course, noise pollution, traffic noise, commercial
I
activity.
think this would come under the ambit of police. I
Yes.
think BBMP per se does not come under this, come directly under this. Probably give it to the police and please find out if there is any role for the ULB in this and let me know.
Okay, sir. I think last Saturday or so we had that the traffic police had promised they'll conduct a drive against horns and honking, things like that. We are having some issues with parking and no parking zones. Will this be a BBMP thing or?
Again, this is under the traffic police, entirely under traffic police. They, under the Police Act, they can designate a parking area and a no parking area.
Okay.
So that needs to be represented. So whatever you are representing the police, I mean, you can mark a copy to the related ward level officer. But who would be the officer who comes closest to this? It will not be the revenue or probably your
I think
MOI.
there's a traffic cell. There's a planning cell, right, under BBMP.
That's only for the. It's called the traffic engineering cell, largely for the roads. That's more from the road management construction. It's like your projects or the road infrastructure.
So the parking and stuff is purely.
Yeah. So I would like you to flag points 6 and 7 to the traffic police.
Okay.
And check with them if there is a role for BBM.
Okay, sir.
If there is some gap to be filled by us, we will come in.
All right. Now coming to road development and widening plans, one thing is, sir, there is a lot of gray area. One is we have the 2016 RMP and 2031 RMP anyway is in cold storage. But in 2014 RMP, there are a lot of these road widths which don't match roads on the ground. On the ground, I don't think those roads will ever get constructed. So there is this gray area, and I don't know if permissions are given to buildings based on the existing road or the one in the RMP. So, and the second issue is we generally don't know what's going on, what construction plans are there, what is in the pipeline, what is being executed, what is pending. We are not getting updates on these things.
No, I think you probably link this to the same issue of the roads, your earlier issue on the building permissions, no? Based on the road width. So it's a related topic.
Okay.
Because you brought in the RMP there.
Yes.
And you're right that we may not have the funds at all to take up all these widening to that extent.
Yeah.
So these would remain at the existing level unless, of course, there are major junction points which would be taken up, like your Kundanalli pass, underpass, which was taken up and all of that. But other than that, I don't see any major road being taken up. But you're right. In case, for the sake of convenience, if the road width, the higher road width is alluded to when giving permission, that would be wrong. Any idea where you feel that an RMP 14's road width has been considered and then permission given?
So, like right now, there's a new construction coming up, which Prestige has actually been marketing. It's got 22 towers. There are 2 towers of 22 floors, and that road width is actually 30 or 40 feet. The ECC main road, no? ECC road.
No, I think we need to take this at 2 levels. One, I'm told as per the plan approvals, nothing comes to the zonal commissioner. So you may need to, there is a particular height and width of the road, or probably square feet, which comes under the joint commissioner. The joint commissioner can clear up to them. And beyond that, everything else comes to the commissioner directly. So chief commissioner directly.
Okay.
So you need to try and understand what is that breakup. So probably Venkatachalapati would be able to help him, cite me and just understand this issue. Because unless you understand the approval levels, you'll never be able to appeal before the right person. And many of these are appealable cases in the sense that you can, there is actually a hearing before the chief commissioner in case any violations are there.
Okay, sir.
So you can actually go with the facts, and I know many places where even setbacks had to be pushed back more and reconstructed and all of that. So I think one call with Venkatachalapati on this issue, I'll sound him that once I've received this write-up, I'll share it with him and ask that you'll be getting in touch with him. So please try and understand that. And
Yes.
then again, as I said, these 2-3 test cases where permissions are being given, a prestige, etc.
Yes.
That can be flagged.
Okay. Also in our constituency in December last, Shri Alvind Limbavali had held inaugurations a lot of projects like road
Correct.
works, stuff like that, based on some grants that he had collected. Now we are unable to track the work allotment and progress. We've been asking in the consecutive ward committee meetings. Then the ward engineer gets allotted the duty of following up and providing it, but then the ward engineer changes, we're not getting our hands on it. So
So this Mr. Muni Reddy would be able to give this
we'll be able to
information.
do it. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah. Mr. Muni Reddy entirely would have this information. Again, these are core engineering works which hardly comes to a level higher than them. So Mr. Muni Reddy and the chief engineer Parameshwaraya,
Yes, sir.
all documents are available in their office. I mean, if you anywhere feel that information is not coming even under the right to information, you can ask for that.
Yes, sir. So we have not gone to that extent. We generally.
Yeah, we should not, ideally, we should not be, we can ask them always in the ward committee to mention this. But I get asked in Ward 57 ward committee meeting. So we gave a list of 22 crore works, which was taken up partly by the MLA, partly under the Nagarothana grants and all of that. So the AE Shanta there produced that 22 crore list of works. Not fully with the status report, but at least the works were there, where it could be taken, what is the cost, approximate time of start of work, end of work, all this was submitted.
Okay. Then we will pursue Mr. Mani Reddy on that.
Yeah.
In our area, a lot of street lighting dark patches. Like, there are poles somewhere, there are some places there are no poles. We'd collected a complete survey of these streets and we'd handed it over to the AE BBMP street lighting.
Yeah, so streetlight section is a completely different section again.
Okay.
There is an executive engineer for streetlights called Mr. Sharath. He's entirely for Mahadevpura.
Okay.
Just drop a message. I'll share his number with you.
Yes.
So for light, this report, if it can be shared with me. Let him at least tell what can be covered immediately, what will take some time, so that you guys at least know that how long it's going to take. So E. Sharath would be the point man for you.
Okay.
Because street lighting does not have a zonal level chief engineer or anything. It again comes to the engineering in chief and goes to the chief commissioner.
Yeah.
So I would say that critical that we be in touch with executive engineer.
Okay, we'll do that. There's this lake in our area called Patanduragrara Lake. Right now there is, it's kind of a sub judice issue, but since the High Court have stayed the encroachers claims, we feel technically it reverts to being a lake, but the BBMP has not been protecting it. There's a lot of
Is it a
dumping.
BBMP lake?
Yeah, it's a BBMP lake. It's
Or a
the custodian
BBA?
is BBMP. It's part of the NEERI report also, the recent one.
So have you checked up with Chief Engineer Mohan Krishna on the status?
Yeah, every time we speak to them, they say it is in the court. Let's wait for the outcome and the orders and all that. So
the court, you will also be able to access the court latest proceedings if you have the writ petition number.
No, we have it. The status quo right now is that the encroachers' claims have been stayed. So this is my personal interpretation. I feel if the encroachers' claim is stayed, that means it reverts to being a public property, right?
No. Usually the court would also give some positive directions now once it is stayed, or just stayed
there
it.
have been no hearings for 3 years. We have actually impleaded into it this week. Into the hearings, we are asking for hearings.
Okay, hearings are further continuing, or the case is disposed, saying that the
case is not disposed. The stay happened. The court gave a stay on the encroachers claim. After that, of course, the COVID came and a lot of other things happened. There have been
when is the next hearing?
The next hearing is on the 28th.
Okay, 28th is not far away. So if you can ask the court for a direction to BBMP to act on that, that is one.
Yeah.
From my end, I will ask you just send me the extract of that court order on WhatsApp.
Yes.
The final court order which says that their the claims are kind of put off.
Yeah.
And I will ask Mohan Krishna what is the action point from our end on this.
Sure.
But in the next court order, please press for a positive direction to BBMP to reclaim the land back and fence it. We have done it in multiple lake cases. I don't see this as a hurdle. The lakes division, unlike other departments in BBMP is fairly active in kind of reclaiming its land.
Yes. Yeah, this is a fairly long case. It's been 40 years. In fact, we faced challenges with the courts itself. We had a corrupt judge who was, favoring the encroacher and all that.
Okay.
We had a lot of drama. But right now, what's happening, sir, is after the court gave a stay order on the encroacher's claim, in the last 2 years, there have been so many constructions in the buffer zone. What we are given to understand is no plan approvals are given to these buildings. These are being constructed illegally.
Oh, okay.
So that's another headache. And actually, a row of buildings are coming up alongside the lakes. They are dumping all their debris into the lake. And it's open. Like just last week, we posted on social media a lot of pictures. I will send those to you also.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Now, the next issue is waste management, sir. This is an ongoing problem. Of course, the lake is one of those places where people come and dump a lot of garbage, and a lot of streets also. People come and dump waste in the night. We are wondering for street vendors or commercial operations, is there any collection at night? Because these people after work, they, like on the way back home or some stuff like that, they dump garbage all over the place.
No, this is something we have told the wards, and even probably Mamta would be the AEE here.
Yes.
So your ward, whoever is the waste collector, to find out whether you are still under the old supply order or has a new tender been given to a waste collector. Okay. Now, what we have told to them is that there is a provision in the tender. If it's not the tender, even the old supply order vendor can also do the same thing. That in case there are particular streets or market areas where the waste is going to get generated at the night.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is run about 2 autos in the night to these particular areas, tie up with these guys saying that you will not throw it anywhere, but just come and put it inside these autos, or you wait for the autos to come. Say you close at 10, you close at 11. The autos just need to do that quick pickup and come and park somewhere overnight. Yeah. And morning, as soon as the compactor comes, they go and offload it, and then they start the regular house collection. So this is one model.
Okay.
The other model is this Kasa kiosk model, which I think you have also mentioned as a manned kiosk. Now, this has seen good response. I've seen it personally in Ward 113, and I've also seen it in this ward where the passport office is there, Koramangala. Yeah. So I would suggest that you guys can, if you have the time, go and study these two models. And if you really need a Kasa kiosk to be put somewhere there, which is nothing but a manned 24/7 manned, it need not be 24/7 also. As you said, it can stay open till 11:30 in the night. Yeah. The vendors can just come across the street, hand it over here. Yeah. Or huge bins can be kept in front of the Kasa kiosk. They can just come and, because largely it will be organic waste. Yeah. If there's some dry waste that can be put separately. And this model has worked. So, and BBMP has a budget for this manned kiosks and Kasa kiosks. So we can have those put there.
Yeah.
Sandeep, Vikram here.
Yeah.
Can I raise a point? Are you okay for me to speak now?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Commissioner, very happy to see you come on this Zoom session. Very happy.
No need of formality, just get on. He doesn't have much time.
Okay. So one important thing, Commissioner, I would like to request your attention is on the lake, the preceding subject that Sandeep spoke on. For your information, that there was a movement that was created in Whitefield to preserve the lake, and over 2,000 odd local Whitefield residents turned up in that event, which happened about 1.5-2 years ago. The lake itself is critical for the community water levels and the ecosystem and the different birds and animals that come in there. And I think I'm coming back to a point that Sandeep mentioned on a different subject, which is that when residents in Whitefield possibly see something positive happening on that lake, there would be certain amount of faith restored. A lot of Whitefield residents have put in their efforts, gone along with different petitions and different public movements to restore the lake. But to be honest to you, the lake has actually degraded, and visibly you can see deliberate debris being dumped along the lake, so that that lake is reclaimed by whomsoever wants to do it. My request
Vikram,
is
if I can cut in, see, these points have already been discussed, and
right.
the commissioner has already told us, he'll follow up with the lake department.
Okay.
He's asked us to share the pics also, see here in
Mm.
this point. So,
Mhm.
is there anything else you need to talk about?
Yes, specifically in the lake, if there is a moment to kind of get residents to visit that lake, that would be an important thing. That's
No,
all
but
from my end.
Vikram, the issue is sub judice. So there is only so much the BBMP can do right now. I think
Mm.
protection of that property is possible, which
Mhm.
we'll pursue with the commissioner.
Mhm.
Second is all these violations around it, all these buffer zone violations.
Mhm.
We can provide those test cases to him, and we'll share the pictures, and we'll see where it goes. We'll speak to the EE. He's already told us to speak to EE.
Yeah,
Okay.
all I'm saying, Sandeep and
Understood.
Vikram, is that strengthen our hands through the court orders, which you've
Okay.
already done. Try to bring the court order into focus.
Yeah.
That would add additional pressure on the lake authorities to go and act upon this. And there are two things. One is, as Vikram said, that we do not allow the lake to degrade beyond the point that it is already in. So, which means if there is a status quo, obviously there is a status quo to the degradation also. We ensure that the borders are protected. We put more lake marshals there to ensure that all this doesn't happen.
No,
Sure.
Thereafter, when there is a
Mr.
clear-cut
Randeep,
order
that
in
has
terms
not
of
been
further,
happening. The
Ah,
degradation has been worsening.
so that is something which in the court has to be taken up very seriously.
Okay.
Despite orders, despite this case being heard,
Yes, sir.
why is it allowed to deteriorate? Is it a fait accompli kind of thing which is going to be posed before the court and say this lake is gone now, nothing can be done?
Yeah.
So that should not be allowed to happen. If that is happening, then please put that across very seriously to the court and to our officials.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a separate letter can be addressed by Namma Whitefield to the chief engineer Lakes with a copy to me
Okay.
on this aspect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you.
Copy to commissioner. Okay. Waste management, black spots. Okay. So this will take up with Mamta, is it? Okay. The waste management black spots.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Somebody had raised an issue on street vendors. I don't remember the exact point. Any of the attendees know what this was about? Well, I think a lot of new street vendors are appearing in different locations on these streets. So, how do these get regulated, and how do we prevent them coming and encroaching all the footpaths? That I think that was an issue.
Yeah, so street vendors becomes a more of a socio-economic issue also rather
Yes.
than an encroachment issue.
Yes.
As you're aware, there is an act also in place, and I would say this much that the street vendor cannot come up in a place at the cost of public inconvenience.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, to wish away all street vendors and say that we should not have street vendors is also not correct under the law today.
Okay.
Because we as a urban local body are bound to create street vending spaces, which we have not.
All right.
Across zones, we have not. The minute you create street vending zones, notify them under the act and give ID cards to these street vendors, that is when we have a right to say that you don't have to be on the footpath, go to these zones, people will come there.
Yeah.
But till then, I think it is an accepted fact that they will, and many of them have the street vendor IDs also with them, issued by BBMP. The best we could do, what we did in Ward 57, where I'm the nodal officer, is we had a designated location where they could sit also, even if it was a footpath, to ensure that 3/4 of the footpath is kept free for pedestrians to walk. So we really pushed the stores not to have these extensions, and also the actual street vendors with their carts and all that, not blocking the spaces.
In
And
fact,
that took a bit.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, in fact, one of the streets which the BBMP wanted to widen from a 4-meter to a 9-meter road, the GR Tech Park Road, we actually stalled the work and got the road width shortened. We asked them for a 5-meter width of road, and about 4 meters is now footpath, on which we've actually asked the engineer to designate a zone. But I don't know if the major roads engineer is responsible for that, or somebody else responsible for the
So
vendors.
we have a welfare section in BBMP. Every zone has these welfare officers,
Okay.
again under the JC office. Anything to do with street vendors and comes under the welfare section.
So they
Of
designate
course,
the zone? Yeah.
of course, they need to closely work with the engineers, even in
Okay.
terms of identifying these zones and put. This is a great idea. If you have actually done that and have a designated area, then there is a right for you to say, look, we already have our street vendors. This is a designated zone. We
Yes.
don't want new fellows cropping up everywhere
Okay.
and blocking public. But if you don't have anything, then we are on weak ground.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sandeep, can I come in?
Sure, sure.
Good morning, sir. Sir, right amidst this white field, we have this layout called White Rose layout, where there is an amount of 50 lakhs which has been sanctioned, but no work has been started so far. There are no drainage system, and there are no roads, and this is amidst the IT sector. So, how do we go forward to develop this layout, sir?
I presume that layout development would come under the ambit of the chief engineer and the executive engineer. All records would be there in their office. I do not know if you have actually approached and found out about this. See, again, these are very local issues which are, the information is very much available with the local engineers. You need to make an attempt to get those documents from them. Ideally, we should have made these available somewhere on the net, somewhere for you to access on our website. It is not. So make that attempt. If you're not able to get that information, please write to us. Please write to the JC or me, email,
Okay.
so that we can facilitate that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Well,
And that is exactly why these ward committee meetings are there, because
Yes, we do attend the ward committee meeting, and we have raised this issue ample number of times. But then, the engineers have been transferred quite often, and we keep coordinating with the engineer. And then every 2 months or 3 months, the engineer gets transferred, and the work is stalled. And now that the monsoon has started, the entire layout is flooded, and our houses, we've been speaking to SWD engineers, AWEs, but nothing so far has moved on. So that's
okay,
our concern.
two things. One is, of course, information itself about the state of work. That is one thing. Regarding the slow movement of work on the ground, yes, it is an interdepartmental coordination issue, which is a larger challenge. I think that is something which on ground only can be addressed. However, if there is some delays which are occurring at higher levels, not on implementation ground, please bring to our notice. Some approvals to be given, some files stuck up somewhere. That needs to be flagged to me.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
thank you.
Next.
Ward committee meeting, sir. It's actually a repeating point. I think there are 2 points that are not discussed. See, in our ward committee meetings, budgets are never discussed, and residents are not involved in ward and area planning. How can these be addressed?
So point C is a larger issue. I don't think we have gotten into that as of now. But budget not discussed is a serious issue. I think that is something which, as a matter of right, you need to ask what is being spent where and what is the status. Point C, I can tell that you can come with a perspective plan in terms of, and that is what is the whole bottom-up approach in terms of, and the BBMP Act also talks about that come up with a citizen plan, as they say, in terms of what is your priority for the next 5 years where BBMP should be spending in your ward, whether it's the local PHC or the local school or layout development, roads, what is it? And then leave the budgeting to BBMP and ask them that let's at least have a perspective plan. It's not that everything is going to happen overnight. But what is it that in the next year 1, year 2, year 3 is what we will focus on. So I think this does not require you to ask them anything. This requires you to put across, and many wards have done this, which is why I'm saying that they've placed this citizen kind of plan for the ward, not a very unrealistic one again, keeping in mind the larger constraints of BBMP budget and the state grants. You come up with something which is a priority plan, which from the citizens' perspective is extremely important. So what that does is that kind of puts in pressure on the elected representatives also to kind of say that, no, this is what the residents want. And then when you say citizens, again, let it not be probably one RWA or one kind of group. I would say that you go and speak across, I mean, speak to the local lower income groups, speak to the street vendors, speak to others, and come up with this plan.
Social demographics, right?
Yes, that's the word. Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Next issue is flood management. The flood engineer is unable to do much in our area, sir. Like one common issue is a lot of these big sites have walls that cut off rainwater flows. And the flood
That's very
engineer,
bad, yeah.
yeah, the flood engineer comes, he talks about how the water has to have right of way and all that, but execution is zero. So there are instances where one apartment complex is unable to let the water flow into the adjoining site because there's a wall built by the other one and they don't want the water to come into their site. So that apartment gets flooded completely. There are layouts which get completely flooded, like White Rose layout right now, they are having an issue. So they don't have an outflow from their layout. So similar issues. If the flood water has a right of way, why is it not? I mean, people are not aware of this. Most people don't know. They think if there is a site of theirs, they can wall it completely and prevent water flows. What is your take on this, sir?
No. That see, finally, it comes back to BBMP.
Mhm.
You were the one who gave the plan approval for building a wall here, for building a gate here. This is where the things. The plan entirely is approved by us.
Mhm.
So again, we need to look. If it is a plan approved by us, then we are in. It is our responsibility to come out there on the field and get this diverted.
Mhm.
However, and invariably, this will be the case that if it has been built unauthorizedly over there, it is a wall, then that wall has to go. I mean, it's after all, it's just a compound wall. We need to make way for the water to flow out. Now, we can always work along the gradient and ensure that along the road edge or along the building edge, the water can flow. Now that will have to be done in cases. And I remember in a couple of wards where we had these perennial problems. One or two compound walls have been felt, and water made to pass, artificial drains kind of were created for 1 or 2 years, and then of course they were cemented.
But who's the
So-
point man to act on this, sir? Like, is it the
So we
flood?
don't have a separate flood engineer for this.
We have one in our ward.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. What is his designation?
Malti, what was that gentleman's name?
Stormwater drain, yes. You have a
No, not
stormwater drain.
stormwater drain. We have a flooding engineer.
Jay Simha.
Oh, okay.
Jai
Okay.
Simha.
Jayasima must be road infrastructure, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's called the stormwater.
Yeah, stormwater drain is what I told. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stormwater, yes. The
Yeah.
stormwater drain gets into this basically because it is their responsibility to ensure that water flows. You're right.
Mhm.
So, and their large role is to ensure that flooding does not happen. So Jayasima can't throw his hands up. I mean, Jayasima has to tell you that what needs to be demolished so that water can flow. You remember that whole issue we had in Whitefield Main Road, where near those hospitals and all of that, where we dug up the whole road. We dug up the whole road, ensured water passed from one end to the other end.
I see. So he's the pointsman and he has to act,
Yes,
and he has to
yes.
instruct different communities.
Let him tell what is his plan, what needs to be demolished, what needs to be constructed where.
Okay. So, but he has an authority to go and tell these individual owners of properties, right?
He has an authority to check their plan. If they have built something in violation which is coming across the floodplain, he can do that.
No, but the problem is the plans generally don't consider flood, water flows.
See, I'm not talking about a 10-year, 20-year-old flood kind of a situation, but I'm saying even during normal rains,
Yes.
if some flooding is happening,
Yeah.
then that needs to be addressed.
Correct.
One obviously cannot plan for huge kind of a heavy
No,
rainfall.
one side of the property where I live on, the wall collapsed because the water is not going to the adjacent property, and they were not allowing us to let water there, and the wall collapsed. An entire wall collapsed.
If
But
Jayasima can reach out to me
Yes.
with these 2-3 specific issues, you can sound him, because whenever I'm there in the zone next week,
yes, sir.
let him raise these issues with me, because the JC also would be there.
Yes, sir.
we'll see what is possible to be done.
Okay, we'll remind him on all the issues in our work. Coordination, sir, there's this big issue of coordination between departments. Road work, BWSSB, BESCOM, road gets starred newly, then somebody else comes and digs it up, stuff like that. Has there been a mechanism set up for better coordination?
So this is again a problem with all the boards. What we are already saying is that there is a, for all permissions, there is a, I think there is a portal which is developed by the engineering. I'm not getting its name. It's called MARCS, yes, MARCS, CCS or something like that. So all other departments have to apply for digging permissions through this portal.
Okay.
And the assistant engineer also has access to this portal, assistant engineer and executive engineer. So about 50-60% of them are routed through the marks so that all departments are aware of the digging. And we also know that the road restoration cost is inbuilt in that digging part. So again, it's something which you need to check with the engineers whether marks is working properly, and all approvals are through that.
It's called MAR.
Capital MARCCS. That's what it's called. I'm sorry, I'm unable to recollect the expansion.
I'll check. Yeah. The next is, I think this is a new issue. Tax arrears. I think it's just a lot of residents in our area claiming that they've got very high demands of tax arrear claims.
Yeah, this is available. I mean, the tax review is something which takes place every month. So the JC revenue, the ARO, your revenue officers, they have this list with them. They may not make it public because it's internal to us in terms of some may even claim that's a private data. Why are you sharing outside? But this list is very much available. The large defaulters list, and the even certain outlets have been sealed because they have not paid, and then they part pay, then there is a balance. So this is very much available with.
Mr. Purushottam, you're there. You're having some issues on the tax arrears, no? Mr. Purushottam, can you unmute and speak?
Yeah. I'm trying to unmute and to talk that
subject.
Yeah, the thing is, see, residents started getting notices from the BBMB dated 22nd of April 2000. February 2011. They are delivering the letters now, claiming that last 4 or 5 years, because of the zonal change, they have to make the payment. And what you say, if it is 100 rupees arrears, they are putting 200 rupees plus heavy penalty plus interest on that. Residents are becoming very, very upset on this. How to tackle this, sir?
You are talking about zone change and some arrears which are come up, right?
Yeah, exactly, sir.
Yeah, I'm aware of this issue. A lot of residents are getting these notices. So what the revenue department claims is that these were already notified on the website earlier. It's just that residents were still paying at the old rates. And now there is an arrears which has cropped up. So my suggestion would be that you can request for payment of the difference amount and ask for a waiver of the interest, saying that because obviously you cannot forego and say that I will not pay the due property tax.
Exactly.
That needs to be paid because the zone has actually changed and classification has changed. But yes,
sir,
the interest on that can be asked to be waived off.
Not only interest, this arrears part, say, I told you, for example, 100 rupees means they are putting the penalty exactly double plus interest and some more other penalties and the taxes and all the things.
So I will not call it penalty. See, there is not a penalty.
Yes,
it's
sir.
basically if your zone was classified as A, there was a slab of rate. Now, if your zone has become B, the slab of rate has increased. So that slab of rate over a period of last 2 years is an arrear which needs to be paid now. For whatever reason. I mean, maybe the applicant did not know or we did not notify it first. And then anything in terms of a penalty or an interest, you should seek a waiver. That would be my advice to you. However, I think, Sandeep, this can be taken up with the Special Commissioner for Revenue, Mr. Basavaraj, at head office.
Yeah.
Because he will be able to give a clear picture. He's the one, and along with him, the Joint Commissioner Venkatachalapati.
Yeah.
Not the Venkatachalapati of Mahadevpura, but there
Yeah.
is a Joint Commissioner Revenue Venkatachalapati who sits in head office.
Okay.
Okay,
So
these
we
are the
can
two
give
people.
we can give a joint representation, because during this pandemic, people are even finding it difficult to pay the taxes. In spite of that, most of the residents pay it. But this classification, most of them are unaware, sir. That's the main problem. They
No,
were
no,
not able to
they're
pick up on.
unaware. I agree. But see, what is the reality is a reality. I mean, I cannot change the location of my house. If already there is a order or a notification saying that your zone is classified as such, today or tomorrow we'll have to pay that amount. Even the courts will not come in the way of doing that. But of course, if you need some time to pay that with the waiver of interest and penalty, yes, I think that is a very legitimate request,
Yeah.
which you can raise before these authorities.
Okay. Okay, I have one more personal request to you, sir, because we were talking about the development and other illegal activities happening in the residential area, including the this one, what is called commercialization. I would request personally that if you could kindly make a visit with your team to one of these residential area like Prashant Extension and White Rose residential area. It would be very kind of you to at least have a on-the-spot study of the things, how it is going, how people are suffering. This is a special request.
Okay, noted.
Sandeep, may I come in?
Yeah, Pradyumna.
Sandeep, I have a couple of more minutes because I've committed to another VC at 10.
Yeah.
So,
Pradyumna, can you do it quickly?
Yeah, I'll just give it short. So along with Mr. Purushottam and everybody else, I just want to bring to notice that whatever construction, especially in the construction sites, we see that there are no arrangement done for the toilets. And that is when the laborers, what they're doing is they're just leaving everywhere, anywhere they can, and that really a big.
So that's a sanitation issue, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Randeep, do you have a take on that?
no, this is a responsibility of the contractor actually who's constructing this, and there's ample scope under the act to actually ensure that he is penalized.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what is the best way to do that, but it is the responsibility of the contractor who's building the building there
So
to
who
provide
can
these
penalize
labor
her?
sheds.
Can the wardens go and penalize her?
Wardens can. We have not authorized them, but they can. We have not authorized them as of now.
Or the health
Again, it is
officer?
an engineering ambit, which means the assistant engineer, who again is more or less missing in action in the ward. See, half these issues can be sorted out by the ward engineer if they're active.
I see.
Ward engineer and the assistant executive engineer above them. Because I could see that most of the issues pertain to ward engineering, which hardly comes up to a higher level than the zone itself.
Right.
And
Okay, sir.
another thing that is about land cleaning, that a lot of people, they have empty sites, but they don't, keep the land clean. And because of which, last time we had a very huge fire, and lucky that, the fire brigade had come on time and then could resist everything. But then it is an issue every time, especially the summer for last a few years. I'm seeing it, especially in the White Rose area surrounding areas.
Yes, sir. That I think, I don't know. Can the ward engineers find site owners, sir? Hello, Mr. Randeep?
I think Mr. Randeep is in mute.
Yeah, sorry. I just probably put on mute, so you could not hear what I said.
Yeah.
So the cleaning comes to the SWM wing, but however, the properties data is available with the revenue department.
I see.
So
No,
we
but
really don't know which site we are cleaning, and if we clean to put the charges, again we require the details of the site. So there needs to be better coordination between the revenue wing and the SWM wing. Only then we'll be able to find. But all said and done, we do not directly go and enter vacant sites and clean, because that is not a direct responsibility of BBMP.
Yeah. No, sir.
Finding
Can
is
you
an
find
option,
them?
but-
Like, who will be the person to find them if they're not maintaining the property?
Yeah.
So we don't get a direct access to fine. We again have to go to the revenue authorities. Either they fine or they include it as an arrears of their property tax.
I see.
which will again come at a later time, which will not be immediate. So think over this, what we can do. This is again a pan Bangalore problem. It is not limited to your ward,
I see.
which
Because,
we have been grappling with.
I see. Because I mean, if you go to cities outside India, typically the local authorities will fine if you're not maintaining your property well, if you're not keeping it hygienically, because it becomes a public hygiene issue.
See what happens, Sandeep. Many of these are abandoned sites.
Hmm.
One. Secondly, the owner is not in Bangalore. The owner may be somewhere else. Somebody else may be managing it locally.
Mhm.
So tracing the owner itself becomes quite an issue. So
Correct.
one or two places, the drastic step we have taken is just go and put a board saying that BBMP property.
Oh.
And then the owner contacts us, and then we said, but we have done it in one or two cases, extreme cases where people have kind of troubled. But I would suggest, if this is where the community can come across and say that this is the owner, this is where he's residing, this is the contact number, then it becomes easy for us to reach out to them
Okay.
and warn them.
Can I come?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to log off now because I've
No.
committed for another.
Okay.
Uh,
Can I just
BCI.
take 1 minute, sir? Just only two issues.
Yeah.
One is
So I want to take other
delimitation.
questions, Sandeep. You can wrap up with whatever you have listed out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Delimitation, sir. What is the status? And
No clue. That is happening at the Chief Commissioner's level and Revenue Department level. So please take that up with sir. Mr. Basavaraj will be able to guide you on that.
all right. And RMP, sir, that will also be.
That is
Not-
again town planning and Chief Commissioner, sir. So it doesn't come under the zonal ambit, these two.
Okay, sir. So I guess we'll wrap up then, sir. Thank you so much for your time. And you
Thank you. Just
actually-
document this and one or two commitments which I've given in terms of once you give me the additional info, I'll start acting on those.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, sir. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.